Have you ever had an idea for an invention, a book, or even a movie? Well, it can be hard to get it off the ground, especially if you do not have the money. There is, though, a way to get a lot of people to give you a little bit of funding, and it all adds up. This morning, we are joined by Yancey Strickler. He is the co-founder of the website Kickstarter.com. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
People have their ears perked now, and we're talking about getting money for free, especially for projects that you are so interested in, but you just can't fund it yourself. How does this work?
Well, Kickstarter is a website where people can raise money for creative projects. So you set an amount of money that you want to raise and a deadline to reach it, and you reach out to your audience and the rest of the internet to gather those funds. But all the funding is all or nothing. You either make your goal and you get all your cash at the end, or you don't get anything at all. So the trigger there that you have to meet to actually get funded.
So if I was a donor and the particular project didn't reach its goal, I would be refunded the amount?
Yeah, you're actually never charged at all. And if it does reach its goal, then you get whatever something offers in return. So the site isn't a donation platform. Instead, if I give you $10, I get $10 of something in exchange. And most of the projects on the site are art kind of projects, movies, records, things like that.
So it's not like a tax write-off per se.
It's not like a tax write-off.
You're getting something in return. So tell us what kind of projects are funded, and yeah, what are some of the things that you get back?
Well, sure. The most common category, the biggest category on Kickstarter is film. We've had over 2,700 films get made using Kickstarter. They've collectively raised over $25 million. And so for those kinds of projects, you might get a copy of the DVD, you might get your name in the credits, you might get a walk-on role or a character named after you. It's up to the filmmaker to define what they offer.
So you could actually buy your spot in a film?
You absolutely could. You absolutely could.
The phone dials are lighting up now, or people are logging on to the website, no doubt. How many of these projects actually make that goal?
Well, so far we've had 24,000 projects launch on Kickstarter in the 2 years that we've been around, and 44% of them succeed.
Really? Okay, that's a pretty good percentage. So do you think your website is actually changing the way that movies are being made, some of these creative projects are being completed?
I think in some ways it has. I mean, it works across a wide variety of creative fields, you know, anything that springs from the imagination. And what it does allows people to make things the way that they want to and to ignore the boardrooms and the film studios, people that tell you no. Here's an opportunity to go straight to your audience and the people who know and love your work and let them have a say in what happens and what it is that you make. So I think in that way it's a very radical departure from what we've had before.
It is, and it's a fantastic idea. The backstory, though, is quite interesting. How did you come about creating this?
Well, my partner Perry Chen first had this idea while living in New Orleans about 10 years ago. And then in 2005, he and I met here in New York at a restaurant in Brooklyn where he was my waiter and I was a regular. And one day he told me about the idea and we started working on it together. And the third founder, Charles Adler, became involved the next year. And the site launched in 2009. So we're not who you would think of to start an internet company or anything like that.
Anyone can do it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We were just stubborn and made it happen.
And it is working. So what are some of your favorite projects? What are some of the most interesting projects? Give us the lowdown on all of this.
Yeah, I mean, it goes all across the board. We had 5 films premiere at Sundance this year. We had a movie nominated for an Oscar for Best Documentary Short Film, which was great.
That's fantastic.
But they go all across the board. Probably my favorite story from a project was a young woman named Emily Richmond from LA who is, as part of an art project, was sailing around the world. And one of her rewards that she offered was for $15 she would take a Polaroid at some point on her trip and then mail it to you next time she got into port. So it's a very simple thing, has a nice story, there's some romance to it. That's a lot of what we see. It's just real people doing things that are meaningful, things that they love, achieving something great, and then sharing the benefits with their audience.
Seems like everyone is benefiting from it. So what's next? Where do you go from here?
You know, we're just going to continue to grow. You know, more products are launching every day. The site keeps growing all the time. Over $2 million being pledged a week. And so for us, we're just excited to see where it goes and continue to work with great people. We're thrilled with what we've been able to do so far.
A lot of people from all walks of life are donating to this. I even heard that Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook donated as well. What's that all about?
Yeah, he backed a project that was actually sort of a Facebook competitor, sort of being created.
Really?
A little bit, yeah, a different version of it. But yeah, he contributed, and we've had a lot of big names contribute to projects. You know, by and large, projects are being run by just normal people. But yeah, Ian McClellan pledged to a project recently. Tom Hanks' son, Colin Hanks, just launched a project a couple weeks ago. So, you know, some of those names are getting involved. For us, though, it's really just about everyday people doing the things that they really care about.
It's really power to the people. Well, it's a great project, and it's a way to get your project off the ground. So thanks so much for sharing that with us. We do appreciate it. Yancey Strickler, thanks for being with us. And you can find out more on the website, Kickstarter.com.